And so it is, beloved masters. We welcome you, and it is that we are going to discuss something that is a major key to ascension on the planet. Forgive. The word forgive. Be ready to give. Be prepared to let it go. With both hands at the same time. Forgive your inner war. And there are a lot of people on the planet that will say, I have no inner war. Do you, from time to time, get into some stress or confusion over making a decision? Afraid that perhaps the choice that you might make will be inappropriate? That's in a war. Do you have very strong opinions and belief systems coming most especially from your lineage about anything that requires argument, defense, or explanation? That is in a war. Anytime you are in a situation and you feel your hackles rise, you feel your blood pressure go up, you feel as though you need to comment on what someone is doing or the incidents that is occurring, that is in a war. The inner dialogue of judgments against yourself, self-doubt, self-criticism, self-accusation, self-defense, self-excuse, self-explanation. That is inner war. It's going on inside of you. And the war that is going on inside of you, beloved masters, is also magnetizing into your energy space war and conflict going on outside of you. When you are attuned to any given situation, any subject, any idea, then very often you will magnetize the energy of that into your life. A perfect example, you may find yourself encountering people in your life quite regularly, quite frequently. And then something shifts. Your thoughts, your ideas, how you live your life, even your schedule may shift, and suddenly those people are no longer there. But you find other people that are now in your life. And it is to be very aware, very clear, what are these people that are in your life thinking about, talking about? Where is their focus? Because as you move and shift and change, you will find that what you are broadcasting energetically from within shifts and changes. And that, beloved masters, is how you create what is going on in your world. So when you are constantly in conflict with yourself, having some drama over the inner war, then you will find that you attract people who challenge you, people who get in your way, people who annoy you, aggravate you, anger you, frighten you. And yet, to be very clear, dearly beloved, amazing, powerful, divine, creative masters, you are designing your life right this moment, not only with the thoughts that are going through your head, but even more powerfully by the emotions that are moving in the energy space of your solar plexus. How does it feel? How are you responding to the affairs of your life, to the events that occur? Because that can be a very good yardstick measure. Everyone carries that internal yardstick measure. Where are you with your inner war? Causes contribute to the inner war, not because it's wrong to assist people or to be enthusiastic about offering assistance, but because so often people will get so involved in the cause that they begin to want to go to war with anyone who isn't interested in the cause, concerned about the cause, doesn't find that it's appealing in the least. And so there is an anger that arises, and there you are, in the midst of your inner war. And the ego loves the drama of the battle. So it is, beloved masters, to come home to yourself internally is truly about loving and forgiving everything you discover. Pay attention, be with yourself, feel it. The mind says, I don't have time for that. Beloved masters, in the energy of these times, you truly do not have time not to pay attention to yourself. Because anything that you desire can be absolutely blocked by the inner war. Anything from a more powerful income to a better relationship to a healing of body, mind, emotions. Because when you're in a war zone, you cannot heal. The first thing that occurs when a warrior is wounded on the battlefield is to get that warrior off the battlefield as soon as possible. Simply because the atmosphere, the energy, the conditions, the emotional climate of a war zone is not conducive to the relaxation, the integration, the love that is required for healing. And it is, beloved masters, Forgiving the inner war is such a powerful step in your ascension. And the ego says, oh no. Ascension is my proof of my goodness. And it is, beloved masters, only in integration, only in at-one-ment with all, in love, is it that you are going to experience ascension. Not in a battle, not in conflicting in any way, not in power over or domination or control, because all of those emotions are aspects of battle. And this is a planet of warriors. And yet it has become a planet of warriors in separation. For when you first came here, the idea, the concept of being afraid of any other master was as foreign to your spiritual nature as it is to many people in this time to consider you are one with every human being on the planet. You are one with every animal on the planet. You are one with all of nature on the planet. You are one with all of God's creation. And there is no thing, nothing, that isn't God's creation. I think I just heard the pounding of the footsteps of the ego running to the front of the courtroom to defend. Now wait a minute. Let me point out to you all the things that are not God on this planet. All creation comes from the same energy source. And God was very clear when all of this was created that as you were given free will, beloved masters, you would have a right to create by choice. Free will. Whatever you choose. In the beginning, you were so connected within yourself, not intellectually. In fact, you didn't begin to use the brain in your head as a control center for quite a long time after you came into physical form in this place. You operated from the body brain in the solar plexus, a blending of intelligence and unconditional love. The more you moved into separation, the more dominance and control became important, the more seeking for superiority required climbing up and over to be above others, the more the importance of the left-brained intellect became. And as you moved into separation, you left the love, the connection to I am, the truth of all that you are, in the holy temple, in the solar plexus area of your vehicle. And you became more and more in domination by the mind. Brilliant. amazing, diamond bright, creative, and without the directive of love, very often cruel. Without the awareness of the connection to all, I love those I love, but I don't love those I don't love. I will care for those that I care for, but I will not care for those that I do not care for. The parental order very often controls by, I will take care of you if you agree with that. In the Master Book, very often there are parables about children that were either very present and agreeable with their parents, or children that were willful, that dishonored their parents by being their own individual self. And so the presence of the war, of the battle to be who you are, has been recorded even in the sacred teachings for a long, long time. And now, in the energy of these times, everything that has been so scattered, so separate, so individual, that it was fearful of at-one-ment, all of that is being called together. Synergy. The sum total of the creation, all of humanity, the whole, the collective consciousness, is greater than any one of its parts. This isn't a discount. This is saying that as you are willing, once more, now in this time, to honor the fact that you are one with God and all of God's creation, to feel it, to feel in your body, and to become very aware where you resist being one. I can be one with this group, but I certainly am not one with that group. I have nothing to do with those people. And it is when someone talks about those people, they're simply addressing a part of themselves that they are disowning or discounting. And beloved masters, any part of the whole that you cannot forgive, any person, any group, any activity that you cannot forgive, holds a part of you that's associated with that energy unforgiven. And that perpetuates the inner war. The fear, the anger, the conflict, grappling to get ahead, rather than acknowledging from the Lord God of your being that you are absolutely amazing, that you are wonderful, that you are beautiful, that you are powerful, and there is absolutely no necessity to prove it to anyone but you. Because once you forgive, making a war to prove that you are all right, then you get with yourself in love and the battle's over. Because once you acknowledge that you are worthy, the necessity to prove it begins to diminish. It begins to get smaller. It begins to get pale. It begins to fade away. And it's no longer in your energy. And as you forgive it, then you have a space where you can more powerfully acknowledge, I am that I am. I am one with all. Forgiving the inner war gives you a place, a quiet space within yourself to acknowledge in love that you are everything that you have desired to be. One of the greatest driving forces of the inner war is the attempt to become what you already are. There are people all over the planet who are battling to become masters. They are trying so hard. They are putting out so much effort. They are working at it. And beloved masters, trying is a no thing. You either put your focus on accomplishment or you put your focus on looking at something else. But trying is a no thing. Hard work has been an energetic defense mechanism of separation. If you are not working really hard, then you're not doing enough. And it's been a battle cry of the parental order. Get yourself a real job. Don't dream. For God's sake, don't waste your time in artistry. Get into the military. Go fight a war. Prove that you are worth something. And that is a reflection in the illusion of the inner battle to prove that you are worth something. Dearly beloved, amazing, divinely unique, powerful, creative masters. Finding the love within you for yourself and anchoring into that love which allows you to remember the love of God that created you, brings you a sense of personal power that has nothing to do with better than, worse than. It has nothing to do with positions in the illusion. You can have your place in the sun, and you can be pleased with it, but it is not contaminated by the fear that someone is going to attempt to come and knock you off the mountain when it's in love. When it is the internal war, even though you may be the picture of confidence in the illusion, in the background is the yama yama of the ego, the two-headed dragon, that's telling you to get out there and fight for your place, and whispering from the other head, this two-headed dragon, what makes you think you can accomplish that? Who do you think you are? And you'll get the reflections in the world when you begin to attempt to create something that is a threat to other people. The courageous will move forward, but it doesn't have to be a war. So now in this time to energetically be willing to forgive, prepare to give up the inner war. Let it go. Let it go. Feel the fear. Listen to what the ego has to say. Don't ignore it. Don't attempt to drive it away or kill it or abandon it. Hear what it has to say. Thank you very much for sharing. Now, step into the love with me, for the ego is a God-created part of you. It isn't an enemy. It isn't separate. It just appears to be in the illusion, because it was created to assist a soul that had absolutely no understanding of how to function in a physical vehicle, to adapt to a physical world. And so the ego functioned in fear, being afraid so that you would not terminate your journey before it's time. Being cautious, being careful, began to translate throughout time as being overly cautious, being obsessively careful, being possessive, being defensive, and the gentle, peaceful, clear, compassionate objectivity of the master began to get lost in the swirling energies of separation. And you moved into war, because separation is always in defense of itself in some way. And so, beloved masters, forgiving within yourself, this has nothing truly to do with anyone else. This is you with you. You being willing to be honest, and beloved masters, as in no time for thousands of years has honesty been as important as it is now. And honesty is not telling someone off and calling it truth. Honesty is paying attention. What are you creating with your energy? Being aware. Does this idea create a feeling of flow, a sense of empowerment, or not in my belly? And if it is flow, am I willing to flow with it? Even though I do not know exactly where that flow is going, but it feels good, it feels God, it feels true. Trusting that love absolutely will lead you into the places of safety, security, of positive outcomes. And this is not a fairy tale, once upon a time in a land far, far away, mainly because that's not here and now, and that isn't with you. Forgiving the war isn't out there. Forgiving the war isn't looking for signs of proof in the world. It's feeling the changes in your own life. Subtle, small, perhaps in the beginning unnoticeable. And yet, as you attune yourself energetically to being willing to let go, prepare to let go, rather than carrying the assurance within yourself that you have a right to battle, you do. You have free will. You can make a war. You can live in a war. God isn't going to curse you. But, beloved masters, before humanity was ever created, God designed laws of the universe that hold the planets in their courses, that set the stars in patterns, that set seasons, that set all manner of elements, that created over time an ecoculture on the planet that was so amazingly compatible, harmonious, unified, that everything balanced out, even if it didn't look balanced in the moment. And so, beloved masters, to be with yourself, forgiving the inner war means every time you find your mind wanting to go and find some justification for the war, you come back to yourself in love and you forgive the fact that you left yourself again. And this is not an either or. I'm either with myself or I'm doing what I must in the world. Because one of the greatest disturbances of these times, in the spiritual world, things are dichotomies. In the illusion, things are opposites. So, in the elusive world, everything is either squared off or opposing for battle. But in the healing of the oneness, everything is just slightly off of opposition, so that there is no direct point of conflict. So, if you want to change someone else, You start by changing yourself. The illusion says, no, no, no. I make them see what they are doing wrong, and then I observe them, and then I push them, and then I force them to do what they should. And that has absolutely no consideration of free will whatsoever. When someone tells you what to do, there is a tendency to want to retaliate, to defend yourself, to explain why you don't need to do it or why you can't do it, or take a breath. Now, when you tell you what you have to do, you have the same reaction that you do if someone else tells you what to do. It triggers the war. So, beloved masters, you are absolutely required to discover, and this is not about guile. This is not about coming in the back door and catching yourself off guard. This is about compassionate objectivity. This is about real caring and consideration for yourself. To consider bringing yourself to a place within yourself that is quiet and peaceful and loving, uplifting, supportive, caring, everything that you have wanted from others, and very often didn't think you could find. And the reason that you couldn't find it was because you were looking out there first. You were expecting the world to give you what you wanted so that you could say, now I have the love I'm looking for. The dichotomy is, it starts in you.